Hey guys, my name is Jenny. I am the owner, founder, and head coach at JS Coaching. Thanks for tuning in for this new episode. Today we're going to talk about how do you make a big decision? How do you gather that information? How do you go about making the decision once you've, decided which direction you're going to go? How do you do that? Some of you that may know me personally know that I have, over the last 10 to 12 years, made some pretty major decisions in my life. I've moved across the country, potentially more than once. I have, gone back to school. I've gone on to pursue a master's degree. I've done some things that, the average person looks at and goes, holy cow, like those are big things. So what I'm going to do is lead you through some of the ways that I have made decisions, and some of them are actually based in psychology. I'm not as just off the cuff as it seems. So I'll walk you through some of those, and hopefully it'll make sense to you and help you making your next big decision, whether that is signing a contract, whether that's deciding to race overseas, whether that is if you're, just a person working in an office, taking that next promotion or quitting your job, whatever it is. Hopefully this will be helpful to you. So as I mentioned, some of them are based in science and psychology, and some of them are just things that I've picked up along the way that have been really helpful for me. So let's go ahead and get started. So a lot of you probably, when you're, getting ready to make a decision, the first thing that you do is you solicit the advice of your friends, your family, your significant other, your, whoever your circle is. And there is actually some science that backs that up. What I will caution you with is getting too many opinions, and then what happens is your own opinion gets a little diluted in that. So certainly, do some research and get the opinions of people, but it might be helpful to get the opinion of somebody who has actually done the thing that you're wanting to do, whether that's moving across the country, going to race in Europe, whatever it is. Talk to somebody who's actually done it. Don't talk to somebody who has never left the country, who's only raced club level, who's never done the thing. That's my point. Sure, I'm sure they're going to have some great, excitement for what you want to do, but they may be Debbie Downer, and secretly they're jealous of you, and therefore the information they're going to give you or the feedback they're going to give you is maybe not the most helpful. So take the advice or the suggestions that you get with a grain of salt. And then at the end of the day, base your decision on what you feel. The second thing that I want to suggest that has actually been more helpful for me is to make a list of pros and cons. This is actually based in science, and my mom was huge with telling me, well, have you made your list of pros and cons? Take this a step further and actually assign each pro and con a number value based on your values. So you've got your pros, you've got your cons, and number those from 1 to 10 based on your personal value system. Then you can go back and you can review and say, okay, I've got this weighted pros and cons list that really gives me a better sense of how I feel about either situation, whatever that situation is. So that's a little more sciencey way of looking at things. And then this might feel a little strange to you, but make the decision in your head, say, I'm going to go with A. That's what it is. And then flip a coin and assign either value to A or B, and have that be A or B, whichever it is, and then see how you feel when it lands on whichever. If your gut instinct, when if you're disappointed when you see that the way that it flips is maybe it flipped the other way. Maybe, you said, I'm going to go with this. You flip it and it actually flipped to the other decision. And you had some, discomfort with that. Maybe that tells you that the decision that you thought that you wanted is not really the decision that you thought that you wanted. So that's a way to kind of not trick your brain, but trick your brain into making a decision So again, based in science, it kind of messes with your head a little bit, but messes with your head in a way that makes you make a decision without realizing that you're making a decision. And then, some other ways that I've gone about it is obviously to do a bunch of research and make sure that you're giving yourself enough time. Because at the end of the day, um, you don't want to make a decision, especially if it's a big life-changing decision, and not give yourself adequate time. So whether that is a big move or, quitting a job or, pursuing a different career path altogether, you don't want to do those things without giving yourself adequate time to research and really feel that. So research it and give yourself enough time. That is kind of the final point that I will make. So, again, I've made a lot of these large decisions over the last 10 to 12 years of my life. From the outside, I've had a lot of feedback from people, and mostly it was from people who didn't have the full story. So also know that as you make these decisions, you're going to get a lot of that. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what, acquaintances of yours say. It doesn't matter what family members that probably don't have a whole lot of interaction with you say. I was called crazy. I was called, oh my gosh, that's, I could never do that. That's fine. It's not your life. You don't have to do that. So just know that when you're making big decisions, when you're making bold moves, people aren't necessarily going to embrace or understand because it may be very uncomfortable for them. And it's totally fine. They don't have to get it. At the end of the day, the only person who has to get it and has to live with it is you. So whatever your decision is, whatever, you decide on, just be able to be okay with that and own it. So little recap, we talked about making a big decision and some ways that, you can be more comfortable with that and that can help you through that. So making a pros and cons list is helpful. Obviously talking to trusted members of your circle, friends, family, loved ones, flipping a coin, flipping a coin one way or another, and then doing your research and making sure that you have adequate time. So hopefully that's been helpful to you, and I will see you guys soon. I'll see you on the next one. If this has been helpful, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. This is still a new channel, so I really appreciate it. If you need my help in any of this or anything mental performance or executive coaching, please get in touch. The link is always below, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks.